I'll just take this off. Let me take this off. Is it on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So we're emotionally overwhelmed to see such a large turnout. This year, ceremony is about the living. The ceremony is to help lead your way through the healing journey that you need to be on. I work with many of you. I have many friends here. My grandpa went to school here, up on the schoolhouse. My dad's family were the ones that were brought to Florida. My dad's family were the ones that were being captured. And that is because he was born on Orcas Island. And his playmates were orcas and one goat. The goat and him used to go for a ride just to go out and visit the orcas, his family. So Dad sat on the beach and cried 53 years ago. But Dad had a lot of healing with those tears, but it didn't change the fact that he knew where she was. He wanted to go to Florida. He wanted to go and soothe her spirit. He wanted to look into her eyes one more time before she left. She was young. 53 years ago, Dad knew she was a baby then. Dad sat on the beach and spoke his language to them, and he never spoke it to us, because when he was younger, he was forbidden to use his language. And we're not using this here for attention. We're not using this for ownership. Tokitae belong to all of us. Every one of you that have a little tear in your heart, she belonged to you. Every one of you that had the hopes and the dreams of her coming home, she belonged to you. The Spirit sees no color. When the Spirit looks down here, the Spirit sees just one big family in this vicinity here. When we gather like this with only one thing on our mind, we're one big family. I'm going to sing a song, and the song is about her journey. Her journey was, I'm so tired, I want to go home. In a few more days, I'm halfway home, I feel so much better. And then she made it home. I am home, I shall dance. And she did. Her family gathered out there at Lime Kiln and throughout Puget Sound to welcome her spirit home, like what we're doing today and what we'll be doing on the other islands. One time I asked my dad, Dad, are you going to go down to the funeral? And he said, funerals are for the living. So when I thought of that, it brings me back to Tokitae's message that me and my mate both received. That message was, I leave my remains to science. My spirit is out here and among all of you now. I have a request to make. That request is to think of me when I'm dancing. That'll be your healing. That is the biggest message that we received, and having to carry that message throughout the series of healings. Have to be very, very careful on how I display her messages and how you receive it. Because it's your healing. It's personal between you and Tokitae. Not between me and Tokitae. Between all of you as one heart with Tokitae. Cindy and I have this here new saying. Where's Cindy at?
Right here.
What is our new saying?
Toki.
So instead of saying okie dokie, now we will say okie toki. With her journey song in mind that she came home with, she was guided by the young spirits. And she had a passenger. Howie, can you come up? Can you tell them who your brother was so I can finish the story?
My brother was Ken Balcom. You may know of him or know him. He passed away mid-December last year. He started Orca Survey in 1976, founded the Center for Whale Research, directed it, and built the most continuous long-term study of any whales anywhere in the world. Every individual identified, right and left side photographed every year, every birth and death documented. He became obviously very attached, very, very caring of the southern residents, and I think they of him. There are many stories of them coming to him. They learned to trust him, and it's in his logbook that he is narrated on video. On April 8th, 1976, the first time that he got out to begin the study, to actually find whales and begin photo identifying them. And this was 1976. They'd been captured for 10 years. They didn't like boats. So over the course of about 3 or 4 hours, at first they avoided him. He couldn't get anywhere near them. But then it took him just a while to realize he's a friend. He's just here to see us. And they, by the end of that time, that encounter, they came right around his boat and were his friend for the next 40 years. Just amazing. So that is Ken. Thank you, Rosie.
And his brother was that hitchhiker. His brother hitchhiked over. She went over and escorted Tokitae back in spirit. He said, "Okie dokie, let's go." I don't know if he really said that, but I can imagine he did. Well, there isn't a lot more that I better say. I better not say a whole bunch more is what I should say, because we could be here till 9 o'clock. I'm going to sing the Siichin song. And Siichin was from the... Cindy, help me. You need to stay here. She's hiding from me. Siichin was from the
Samish family line.
J-Pod. Yeah. And I was holding my great-grandson one day, and that song came to me when Siichin was born. Don't go no place. Sometimes I get quiet like that when I feel like there's a message that's going to come in, but I may have a couple or two later on. All I know is that they want you the orcas, want you to remember all of their ancestors. This is the first one who's really touched all the humans, besides the baby that was in her mama's mouth for 17 days. And I myself have a small message from me that I don't believe that we need to necessarily say this is Lami and Samish. What we need to say is this is Coast Salish. Coast Salish, all of the Tulalip. Tulalip has big history here. Sklallam, Swinomish, Stillaguamish. Coast Salish is what we had. Coast Salish was related in some way to the whales. Who has ever seen the big whales down in Tulalip Casino? Out in their front yard. They honor the whales. Cindy? She's like a little kitten. And Molly? Where's
Molly? Molly? Molly?
Yeah. Vicky? And Max. Max. Now these here ones are going to represent all of you. I'm so tired, I want to go home. Oh, 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 That's the significance of her dance when she got home.
Hello. I am Molly Hughes, and I'm the mayor of Coopville, and I'd like to welcome you to our town today. I see many familiar faces. If you're visiting us, I'm happy you're here, even though it's kind of a sad occasion that we are remembering today. The unexpected and sudden death of Tokitae. She was captured right out here into the cove on August 8th in 1970. Spent the next 53 years at an aquarium in Florida. Almost 53 years to the date. She died on August 18th, just 10 days after August 8th. It is believed that she was around 57 years old when she died. Even while mourning her passing, I'm hoping that today we can also celebrate her birth and remember first 4 years of her childhood with her family in the Salish Sea and celebrate that and know, as Rosie said, that she is back with her family in spirit in the Salish Sea where she belongs. It is with great sadness and regret that our cove, part of its history is the horrible whale captures of the 1960s and 70s. People that were there, the stories they tell, it just sounds horrific. But as a result of those atrocities, we also got the Marine Mammal Protection Act in 1970, which stopped the capture of whales if it was to keep them enclosed on display and performing. So small benefit of that after years and years and years of captures all over the Pacific Northwest. Many people, tens of thousands of people, have worked for decades to bring Tokitae home. I want to say thank you, and I'm really sorry you didn't get to see your dream realized. People from all walks of life, here and all over the world, fought for Tokitae, for her physical health, for her spiritual health, and for the well-being of her family that was still here. Every contribution of time and money and research and public awareness was important. And we have some of those special people here with us today. You have already met Rosie and Bill, who are elders in the Coast Salish people. Rosie and Bill, usually they're very good to us in Coopville. They come and visit us all the time. Usually it is to celebrate something happy, like the traditional canoe races in the cove, or the learning about a beautiful totem, or just learning about Native principles and priorities. But we also are happy that they are with us today to mourn together. Two other people that are very, very special in Tokitae's history are Howard Garrett and Susan Berta, who are the founders of Orca Network. They have literally worked for decades. I'm not going to say all 53 years because I don't want to make them that old, but maybe it was. Maybe it was 53 years. I'm not sure. Howard even going to the extent of moving to Florida to watch for many years, to watch over Tokitae and to try to bring her home. They are, because of them, I think that we can all, because of Howard and Susan and Rosie and Bill and countless others, I think that we are all more aware of and more grateful for the very special and unique gift of orcas living among us. There's not very many people in the world that can look out their window and see an orca. It's really special. So I like to thank them for all being with us today. It means a lot to us, and I'd like to introduce Howard and Susan.
If you're wondering why I'm holding this big stick, it's because I have a sacred duty to monitor this and to keep it close. We will use it in the ceremony coming right up.
Not for hecklers.
Yeah, don't worry. You're all safe. This is really a wonderful gathering, just amazing. Not just that so many people care so much about Toki, that they're joining in this morning, but the quality of the people. You guys are amazing. I've seen people I haven't seen in years here. It's really wonderful to see you, so thank you all for coming. Thank you, Rosie, for having this ceremony. I guess I just want to say, Toki, we hardly knew you. You know, I mean, my love and respect for her grew by the year, by the day sometime. The more I learned about her, the more I was in awe that she was just so incredible. I don't know how much you may have heard about her courage, her strength, her incredibly engaging personality. She really did reach out to people with her eyes, with her look, with her gestures. She really brought people in. She was described by one of the major newscasters down there as flirtatious with him. So I'm not sure what that meant, but I can kind of imagine that's kind of how she was. She'd look you in the eye and you knew she was understanding. She was looking into you. And I've heard that from many people who had that experience with her. So I have been trying over the years to build that appreciation of her, to show people that she's an amazing person, that she really had incredible qualities that are admirable, inspirational. She's like a teacher for us, a kind of a mentor. To persevere that long, to keep her good graces, her good personality, her kindness and gentleness. She never hurt anybody. She might get tired, and I'm sure she had moods, and she would refuse sometimes. And she played little tricks, especially on new trainers, like, doing the wrong thing just to show them who's boss. So she had all that going for her. And she also had the fact that she was and is a southern resident orca. She is a member of her family, and we know her family. That's how we started this whole campaign. Ken actually started it with the Governor and Secretary of State on March 9th, 1995 at the Daybreak Star Center in Seattle. Held a press conference and announced the start of the campaign. And the reason was that we knew her family. We knew her because we knew her family. We knew how they act, how they care about each other, how they play with each other, how they frolic and show all kinds of love to each other. And we knew that was her. That was her. That's how she was raised, and literally taught how to be an orca by her mother and her family. And that's who she was and who her spirit is. And she taught me more than that. In fact, I can't even imagine what she, her real capabilities, her real character, because I learned something. Actually, I had what was kind of a mystical experience, it turned out, the day before she died. August 17, I was stuck in a bank, waiting for a banker to call the back office and figure out what to do with these accounts that I didn't open, but I had to deal with. And so I was sitting there, and you could get kind of impatient, but that was about 4 o'clock, August 17th. And J, K, and L pods came in from the ocean, and they gathered around Lime Kiln Lighthouse. And there's a webcam on the lighthouse. And I've watched that many times and never seen much more than a few dots out there. But this time, they were there that whole time. And they were, J's, K's, and L's. And they were doing things I had never seen. I was just fascinated by this kind of social behavior that they were kind of, going this way and that way and rolling around on each other, and the occasional breach and spy hop and tail lob, and you could tell whether they were agitated or activated or energized, whether it was a ceremony or whether it was just pure emotion. I couldn't tell, but I knew it was really something incredible was going on there. Never seen it before. And the next day is when I learned that Toki passed. So she was in her last hours on Thursday afternoon when her family came in to the absolute center of their world, of their habitat, of their where they play, where the salmon come in and they tumble up on the side of San Juan Island, and that's where she grew up. That was her backyard. That's where she played. That's where she learned how to be an orca. That was the center of her world, and I don't think that ever left her in Miami. I don't. You'd have to prove it that she didn't remember everything that she learned growing up, and that's where she learned most of it. Was right there off the west side of San Juan Island. That's where her family came, and I have to believe they knew that it was some connection that we can't see, that science can't describe or measure, but somehow they knew, and that's not the only account of times when orcas knew more than they should, when things are happening about them and they know it and they're there. So we don't even know her yet. We don't even know what she was and what her family is. We know they have incredible capabilities, but she'll teach us. She taught us a lot. She'll teach us more. We just have to learn. We have to open our minds and learn from her. But her legacy is not over. We're here for her. We're here for her family. We're here to bring back the salmon, bring down some dams.
Yes.
We're going to take care of her family because we know she cared about her family. And we do too. Susan, would you like to come up?
Well, so many faces out there that we see in so many places and over so many years. And being here, I think this is the hardest place to be. I'm finally gonna cry. I haven't been able to cry for 3 weeks. But looking over there, where she was taken from her family, Hoopville has always been the place that has cared the most about Toki and felt it the most. And I know that all of you, like us, really were counting on bringing her back to heal this place and to right those wrongs and to heal our hearts and to try to make it better, to add a bright note to that horrible history. And we were so close to doing that. But it wasn't in the plans of the universe and the greater spirits and the ancestors, and I'm starting to see that maybe Toki's work I'm seeing it already, that she's having a bigger impact. And I keep having this vision of Toki and Ken, you know, maybe sitting around drinking a beer and, and thinking, you know, what are we going to do next? And, you know, I think about all of the people, Rosie and Bill. I think about, you know, all of you here today and all the people of Coopville, the whale wheel that Roger Perdue designed and local carvers helped make, that commemorates the captures and was to honor Toki. The town, the Pen Cove Water Festival, the Chamber, the EB's Reserve, the museum, all the people who helped this event come together today, and all of who have helped us do Toki commemorative events in the past, our August 8th events, who've helped us for decades. And I've also been thinking a lot of Uncle Smitty, Jim Hilaire, who announced our canoe races and also helped with Toki and really felt deeply about her, and Jim Freeman as well. They always talked about her during the canoe races. Chief Salith Bill James, who not only helped as hereditary chief of the Lummies, but he was part of the Pen Cove Water Festival long before that as a weaver with his mother. So there's a lot of connections in Coopville, and like Rosie said, with many Coast Salish tribes. Ray Freiberg and his family were part of one of our August 8th events here. And we so honor and feel honored that we've had such a rich relationship with all the Coast Salish tribes and have had their help along the way, and know that their hearts and their spirits and their ancestors are all with Toki and with us as we help her along her journey. But so I'm going to diverge a little bit and take you on a whole different path. You never know what it's going to be with me. So something that came up for me a while back was, and something I realized about Toki quite a while ago is, and I first felt kind of weird about, but is I realized how in us trying to help Toki that she had this weird thing of healing us while we were trying to help her. And I realized that right away with me as I was going through a hard time in my life. And it was like, she helped me and she healed me and made me feel better. And I kind of felt guilty because I'm like, wait a minute, you know, I'm trying to help you. What are you doing here? And then I just saw it happen over and over again with so many people through the decades. And, you know, many young people, especially going through hard times, who somehow, you know, related to her, and, you know, maybe just her struggles living in that tiny tank, and, you know, just and her way of connecting with people, with so many different kinds of people, that brought people wanting to help her, but somehow in turn she healed them and helped them. So one day it just hit me that Toki is like Chiron from Greek mythology and astrology, where Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And in astrology, that represents our deepest emotional and spiritual wounds. And wounded healers are people who have been wounded themselves. And Chiron had an incurable wound, but couldn't die, was immortal, and had to live, but was a healer and a teacher, so spent his life healing people. And I almost feel that with Toki. And even now that she's died, I'm still seeing her teaching and healing people, even more in her death. And it just strikes me that that is who she is. And when, she just, she could heal and change people, even those who had never met her. When I met her and she looked into my eyes, it was like when she met people, one, she was a good judge of people, so she knew your intentions. And when she met someone she knew was trying to help her and had good intentions, she had you, and you were changed, and you were going to help her. But she also was going to help you and heal you, and you just kind of became as one. But even if you didn't meet her, she had a way of connecting with people. And, when they had the big news release or press conference in March, and I just cracked up because as a press conference, it was kind of a disaster, and everybody was just bubbling, and it was this weird conglomeration of people from all these different walks of life that you would never see standing together, let alone embarking on this impossible project. And they were all, you could just tell they were all speaking from their hearts, and that they had all been totally just won over by this whale that they had met and who had deeply changed them. And, and they would have brought her back, and they were so close. But she had that amazing ability. So, I think she was able to draw people into her life because of how she, the oppression she lived in, and yet, and just her story of being taken cruelly from her family and put in that small tank, and yet she lived so long, longer than any other Southern resident, in that small tank, and yet she kept her spirits up, and she was every vet and trainer, well, maybe except for Robert Rose, I can say that, said she was a sweetheart of an orca, and, she had every reason not to be. But yet she persevered in her strength and her spirit and her grace. And I know myself and many of us going through hard times, I'll just think about her, and times in the past decades when things just seemed impossible, and I'm like, we made a promise to Toki, and if she can keep trying and stay alive and still have her spirit and strength, I'm going to be able to keep going. And I think she is able to give people that even now. And I just, I think she can still do that, even in her spirit world. And I also think, I know actually, I really believe this, that a lot of Toki's strength came from us and all of you and all the people in the world, and people like Rosie and Bill and all the people who were working to bring her back. I know Toki felt that, and she knew there were people trying to bring her home, and she knew and remembered her family here, and she really believed she was coming home. And those last 6 months, she was so healthy and happy, and she knew she was coming home. She was using the calls of her family. She was really excited to come home. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen. As Howie said, she did come home. Her spirit came home. Her family knew she was coming home, and we're waiting for her. It wasn't how we wanted. But we do know that she came home. But I'm really, I've just been amazed these last 3 weeks at the number of people who've reached out, who've come to these ceremonies that we've had. the people, the 13-year-old in Tacoma who wanted to hold her own ceremony and who drew a big crowd down in Tacoma last night. It's just amazing. I think Toki is going to reach as many people, if not more. And I know for Orca Network, we're going to continue on in her name, working on behalf of her family and the salmon that they need and the habitats that they need, and just teaching who orcas are and what we still don't know about them. How did they know that she was dying and it was time for her to come home and they were there to greet her? There's so much we don't understand because we don't have that part of the brain they have, and their brains are so much bigger than ours. We have so much to learn from them, and we want to continue on to keep Toki's work alive. We aren't going to let her death be in vain, and she will always be with us. Once Toki gets into your heart, she's never going to leave, and she'll keep guiding us. And lastly, just looking at so many amazing friends out there that we have made because of Toki, or our friendships have gotten deeper because of Toki. For that, I'm so very thankful. And that's one of the things in our Toki project that continues, is one of the focuses of that will be her gift of bringing a very diverse audience together to work together on problems. And that was the gift she had that we're going to work hard to continue, because that's what this world needs most right now. And we just thank everybody for doing what you have done and for continuing that. And I really want to thank Rosie for the spirit of what she said about the Coast Salish. Also all working together. I just thank everybody for what they've done for Toki and the orcas and her family. And thank you for coming today. We're going to do the salmon ceremony. Cindy, Rosie's calling on me. And I want to thank Cindy for putting together 1 million events this last 2 days, one more tomorrow. And everyone who helped bring this together. I really appreciate all the help. And so now we're going to do the salmon ceremony. So Cindy and Rosie will help us do that out.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for supporting Susan and Howard through this whole journey over these decades. We really appreciate all of you being here. So what we're going to do next is bless the salmon before we get ready to take it out to the water. So the significance of the salmon is we're going to take it out into the water, and it will become food for whatever consumes it will go on to feed the whole Salish Sea. And so will make its way out to the whales and out to Toki's family. So what we're going to do is, for anybody who wants to do this, you don't have to if you don't want to, but we can form 2 lines and have everybody come through and just put your hand over the salmon, bless it, think whatever thoughts are in your heart. Also, if anybody would like, we have some rose hips that Rosie had asked us to gather. And if anybody would like one of these, I can hand them to you after you come by and bless the salmon. And then hold on to that, and as the salmon is going out into the water, you can throw these rose hips into the water with it. We also have a lot of cedar around, so please feel free to grab some cedar if you don't already have some, and put that in the water as well. So Bill is starting us off here, and then we'll
form a couple of lines and have everybody come through, and feel free to grab a rose hip for me afterwards. Rosie, is there anything else you'd like to add? So Rosie's going to sing as everybody goes through.
As you go through, as you all go through, you can walk past Cindy there, and she'll give you a rose hip that you could share with the offering to the sea, the offering to the spirits of Salish Sea. Right after they starts to drift, and then you can throw in your berry or your plant or whatever it is that you would like to throw. The cedar, you want to throw some cedar. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, hey, oh, hey, Ya hey ya hey ya ho ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey yo ya hey ya ya hey ya ho ya hey ya ya hey ya ho ya hey ya ya hey ya hey ya hey yo ya hey Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya hey ya hey oh. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya hey ya hey oh. Ooh, ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya hey ya hey oh. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya hey ya hey oh. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya ho. Ya hey ya. Ya hey ya hey ya hey oh. I can tell all of her admirers, all the true hearts we have here, all the energy you're sharing with the ocean, recognizing what we can share with the ocean is right in front of you. Such a blessed event. We all come from different walks of life for the same reason. Spirituality that we all share is the belief that the spirit sees no color. Tokitae seen no color. Although she liked black and white, I wonder why that was. She looked good in black and white, somebody says here. Every piece of medicine that you offer here is going to come back to you in 10 times more healing after today. Oh, thank you. Oh, Ashka.
I know, but today they're in DC, so I think
This is a gift I just received from one of the family here. And he has received one as well. Susan, can you hold your pose? Can we have Howard come up here? Cindy, did you go through the line? Oh, can you go through again? I'd like to see a picture with his. That's pretty antique spear there. It's got to be at least over 100 years old, I think. Howie snuck by me. When I talked about the hitchhiker that came with Toki, that was Howie's brother. And you know that some of this here air we have, the Toki's spirit, she can swim through it as if it were water. So when she came home, along with her spirit guides, she was directed here a week before her body quit breathing. Her spirit came home. And that was when all of the orcas started to gather, because they already knew. Like Howie says, we'll never know, we're still learning. You can lay the flower there if you would like. Oh, okay, thank you. We have such gracious people that's standing in the background. If you'd like to come forward, please do. Please come forward. And we have a person from LE, law enforcement. Can you come forward, please? Law enforcement, please come forward. This is one of our greatest gifts that we have in the world is law enforcement. And any other protective people in uniform.
Rosie would like me to introduce our sheriff, Miss Garden, and thank you for being here with us today.
One of these here two gifts that we have here, they're very gracious gifts. I would like to thank the person who shared it with us, and I would also like to donate one of them to Orca Network, to Susan and Howard. Susan, we really appreciate these. There's 2 of them, but there's 2 couples. That makes us a great team. So that getting coming to a close as far as
Are you ready for the salmon to go down? So what we're going to do is we have people chosen to carry the salmon plank down. So the tide is still very high and the salmon plank is heavy, so we have people chosen to carry it down to the water. And the guy with the big stick with a point on it is going to make sure it goes out into the water. The tide should be going out now. I believe it is. And so we're hoping it will float out that way. And we have gotten permission to also go out on the deck out this way so we can kind of watch from all 3 areas. There's a little bit of room on the beach also. And then we have our rose hips. There are also some roses that were donated if people want to throw roses. There's cedar. I think Debbie's been taking her flowers around. Deborah's been passing her flowers around, or if you brought something to also toss in the water. Rosie, I also, so we'll just do the salmon ceremony, and you can make your own prayers and blessings as we offer the salmon, and have Rosie and Bill. Do you want to say more about the salmon ceremony? I'll play that after. Right, so you'll go out on the... Okay, you're taking over from here.
Give us a moment.
Well, it'll take a while for the salmon. I mean, I could actually lay my feet from here out to there. Oh, from this or from here? Well, actually, I'm no help for how, so I'll get somebody to watch him. Watch him.
Keep an eye on him.
That's what I'm like. I'm always like, what we're talking about. I know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of help.
I know. Nobody wants
Okay,
to
so
start
what we're
that.
going to do is we have our 2 people who are going to carry the salmon plank down the stairs to the beach. Howie will go down there as well to give it a nice little send-off. Anybody who wants to come and witness, you can go down the stairs if you want to. There's a little bit of beach there. Just make sure that our salmon gets down there safely before you go down. And then everybody else can just kind of gather around here, and we'll wait till everybody's ready before it goes in the water. But we're just going to give them a few moments to get it down the stairs to the beach. So feel free to gather around. Again, we have permission to use any of these docks. So once the salmon is on its way, we can go ahead and throw our cedar and our rose hips in the water.
I'm behind you.
Okay.
Maybe to figure out where to put them.
Want me to clear a path for you guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Salmon coming through.
Oh, thank you so much, Corinne.
Yeah, well, I had a small, distraught child to sit on my dinosaur's arm was torn. Oh. I know, I have a broken foot, so I am so careful to get her. This is the first time I walked her. So I was standing too long. I keep moving around and I lose feeling. So then I got no, that's my the main thing. Right. That's why Larry was thinking. I saw that. Progress. It was going to go that way. No, this way. It's right in half. Oh my God. And it's in the place that they said it's hard to stay up. I stayed up. That fish is going to my house for dinner.
I'll see it, Mick. I'm going to see you soon.
Yeah, she said it was Saturday, and I said, oh, yeah, no, it's Saturday. So it was before. Yes. In the same place at your place?
On Tuesday, I'm gonna be taking care of a friend's dog for 2 weeks. Oh, good. I will just put my. So we still have it in case I go. Okay, good. You're really good. You're talking really well. We all know the one of the whale was the children really don't get out of the street. Well, she seems to be doing, she never should be super soft. She doesn't even want to hear it. Yeah. So I think it's good to see her. Well, I asked her what Conrad, so we have a, I think they're going to Boulder. Yeah, so to talk about one of them, I guess someplace then they're going on a cruise. I don't know if I'm going to another one of these, you know, South Africa. Goes up coast, around over to I can't believe it. Oh yeah, they're there today in Washington D.C. That's why someone put it the worst way. I don't understand why people do that. And they need to. I didn't really realize that. And it needs to be in you couldn't freeze. Oh, big bag. I think we can freeze. That's kind of yeah. Okay, all right. All right, well, I'll talk to you. 17, I thought that all set up. 5 years. Yeah. I'll go up there and get it all.
Well, anything else on your agenda? I want to talk to Nikki a little bit.
Karen Austria, who's actually on here. Well, he had something, so yeah, well, it was the Kent and Sally. He was thinking about it. I was wondering when because you did see he had several serious health issues, including surgeries, and then broke his hip, and I don't know how that goes. Yes. And so they just kind of building. Well, I think he was, I don't know. It was very, until he started yeah.
That's right. Okay, no, I don't stop her from talking.
Hold on, still, even though he was having physical health issues, it was still there. And so when we went to very no, I feel so much and I went and we all went to the house. Everybody got it there. So that whole thing, bringing it out one person, is a very bad thing because people, you know, I mean, it's just, I see. Yeah. I figured. Yeah, how's the real one? Because it came, because people say they got it. So, well, we went to, so it isn't I had it about 12 days ago. I got it probably trapped. But I tested for like 5 days. I tested negative, and then I kept testing to make sure I was still negative and make sure enough. Yeah, because I thought it would take at least 10 or 12 days.